Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast. All right, welcome everybody. We're a man down today. Justin is here.
I was going to say, don't say Justin's missing.
No,
I
Justin.
used to be
Justin
the
is
man down.
Justin is here. Jeremy has once been kidnapped by EA. He can't stop himself. They love coming for him, and then we got to pay to get him back. You got to buy Madden. And this time it was you got to buy NCAA.
I haven't bought it yet. I debate. I look back at it and I'm like, I should just get this. Then I don't get it, and I was like, yeah, I don't need it. I don't really sit down and play games too often. Then I'll see something and I'm like, I should buy it.
I played so much NCAA college football when I think it was Larry Fitzgerald was on the cover. So what was that, 03, 04?
Oh yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Like I like that game more than I like Madden. So there's part of me that like nostalgic wants that game. But then another part of me barely touches the Xbox. So like spending the money on the game just doesn't seem worth. Plus, at some point, I'm sure they'll put it on Game Pass if they haven't already.
I do like NCAA a little more than Madden, where you're doing the whole recruiting. And then when you get these made up player names, you're like, that's fine. But when you get into the football and you're like, I don't know who any of these people are. I know most of the league.
That's when it becomes oh man, I just blanked. What was Key and Peele? But that's when it becomes a Key and Peele skit. The names on the college
Yeah.
football.
I have seen some clips from people talking about college football with some of the names. And I don't know if they're actual names in the game, but they have some pretty interesting ones. Like
Oh.
I know one of them's name was there's like Jesus Superstar, Lord Christ.
Well, I would hope that the computer wouldn't accidentally create that one. So
Jeff Epstein.
yeah, there's no way that one was accidentally created.
Right, like are those names that they're just slipping in there, or is that like the person who's playing the game is like, oh, it's gonna be funny, let me go edit this guy's name?
That,
Do you think most of it is that?
yeah, especially Jeff Epstein. There's no way that EA didn't put some sort of block in their computer software for like Adolf Hitler, Jeffrey Dahmer,
It'd be Jeff Dom, Al
yeah,
Hitler.
yeah, Albert Fish, like some of the bigger hitters in the serial killer world, and then people like Epstein. Definitely, they put some sort of block so that like the system can't even come close to accidentally creating that name.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to get with it. Like I wanted to get the game to see if those are real names. But I know anytime I type in my last name, I told them not allowed to use it because of profanity. And I don't
Your
understand it.
your last name,
Yeah.
Doffic?
I don't know if it's the FEK at the end of it makes they be like, oh, he's trying to slip something funny in there.
That's weird. Yeah, so that tells me there is a filter that's in there somewhere.
It does it in Madden. I don't know about college.
Oh, I never had a problem putting my name in college in the college football
What are
game.
they going to say? You can't be a grape?
A grape
Pippin? Grape?
isn't a pepin is
Raisin? Grape?
isn't it cucumber?
I don't think so. I think it's a grape.
Well, I know like when you look at like when you go to like buy the lime cucumber Gatorade, it's like pepino or something.
I want to say it's grape.
Of what? Well,
I'm sticking with grape.
okay. I mean, I'm sticking with French royalty, so
I'm sticking with grape.
all right. But today's episode, I'm handing it over to you. You're taking the reins.
Oh boy. And
So
it's semi sports related. Well, at least it started sports related.
right.
And then the rabbit hole got wider and deeper, and I just kept falling.
That is what happens when you try to do research for this episode with this podcast, and that's why I do a lot of it because it's fun to do the research sometimes.
And yeah, sitting down there writing this stuff, you're like, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. But it started, I sent it to the group message that allegedly General Mills is coming out with a Kelsey mix in 2024, which is a cereal that's going to contain Reese's Puffs, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and Lucky Charms in one box.
Okay, if I didn't already have type 2 diabetes, this is the thing that would have given it to me.
Yeah, those are all hard hitters for cereal.
I
I'll
mean,
agree with that.
I'm a fan of all of them, and putting them all in the same box.
But slapping the Kelsey's faces on it,
Well,
is that gonna deter you?
no, because I gotta support the Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I mean, Jason Kelsey,
Travis,
Travis Kelsey.
Ron Kelsey.
Whatever. I'm
So I said, so after like thinking about that made me want to do a little bit more research into celebrity endorsement. Do you know when the first celebrity endorsement goes back to what era?
I mean, I would assume one of the first like levels of advertisement. So whenever the first like new print newspaper, sometime in the 1800s, 1700s,
1760s.
okay.
Uh, Josiah Wedgwood and Sons made pottery and chinaware, and they used royal endorsements as a marketing tool. So it first started in the 1760s is when celebrities, which were the royals, was the endorsement tool. The first actress to be on a poster was in 1882, and it was Lily Langtry for Pears Soap. So she was the first celebrity to endorse a commercial product.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me that we figured it out real fast. Because I mean, at some point, I'm guessing that even back before we were putting it in print, like the idea of having whatever version of celebrity they had back in the 1400s or the 13, whatever, because they would have had, actors or like you said, royalty, like, if we can get King Charles to swing by, like everybody will come buy our pies. If he's like,
Genghis Khan only eats
yeah,
these
hey,
shepherd's pies.
hey, Genghis Khan ate our pie over here. Everybody's like, well, it's good enough for him.
Yeah, I don't want to get killed.
I mean,
Or do I not want to eat it? Because then if I eat all the pies, he'll kill me anyways.
right. I mean, what is back in the day when they're like, oh, Abraham Lincoln slept here in this hotel. Ooh,
Oh yeah, we got that one that's no longer here.
yeah.
That was a big talking point in this small little town. And then in the late 1800s, so this would have been a little bit after 1882, trading cards were introduced, which was a card with an image of the celebrity and a product description, which was either given to customers or inserted in packaged products. So that's when you start seeing like all the trading cards coming into this with the advertisings.
So you're saying that the trading cards didn't happen with sports first. It happened with so,
Celebrities and product descriptions.
huh, interesting.
Yeah, and the first like baseball cards where cigarette companies gave away baseball cards as part of a customer loyalty scheme. And from the stuff I was reading with it, a lot of the companies didn't have permission to use the images of the players.
Well, it isn't that why the most expensive card out there.
Arnis Wagner?
Yes, isn't that why that card is so valuable? Because he didn't like because of his religious beliefs or his beliefs in general, he didn't want to be associated with the tobacco companies. So like they only produced so many of them before like they had to stop.
Yeah, before they're like, you can't use these without their permission, which led to well, I'll come back to that one in a second. Like in the 1930s was when the trend started to go towards athletes because Babe Ruth had a paid endorsement of Red Rock Cola. So that's when they actually started paying them was in the early 1930s, 1920s, which is why that Hornus Wagner from before then is one of those ones because they were like, no, you can't do this. Stop doing it. So the ones that did survive became one of the most expensive cards out there. 1900, Coca-Cola signed its first celebrity endorsement with light opera and dance hall singer Hilda Clark.
Oh man, one of my favorites. Oh,
I know when I saw that name pop up, I was like, oh, Nicholas doesn't shut up about her. So then in like the 1945s is when the trend changed to more movie stars. So that's when they were trying to get all of the endorsements from more of the movie stars. In 65, when color TV was introduced, TV personalities and entertainers were the celebrity endorsers with all of the shows and the advertisement. And in the 1980s is finally when companies started making products around celebrities like Nike and Michael Jordan. So they didn't start making products specifically for celebrities and athletes until the 80s.
so so they figured out real fast that getting a celebrity to say, use this soap would get people to buy said soap. But they didn't figure out for 100 years that putting the like making the soap about the celebrity would probably sell more.
Yes,
Ah,
it wasn't, yeah. So,
interesting.
so we knew we could get them to buy it if we used celebrities, but we didn't think about making it a specific product by the celebrity or whatever. So about 25 to 30% of all advertisement use celebrities now, which I feel like that's kind of low.
Yeah, I feel like that's because I feel like they're doing like the sneakier stuff where like Will Arnett does so many voices for like Reese's Pieces or not Pieces, Reese's Peanut Butter, and like which car which truck is it?
So I know John Cena does like Honda or
Yeah,
something.
but I mean like they don't ever put well John Cena I think has been in a Honda commercial, but Will Arnett physically has never been in a Reese's Peanut Butter commercial.
So is that technically a celebrity endorsement? Because it's not him, it's his voice.
I mean, I bet his bank.
We know we're like that's Will Arnett.
Yeah, I bet his bank account says it is.
Yeah, but other people are probably like,
Why do I know that
I could
voice?
go for some peanut butter cups.
Yeah, the voice of Lego Batman is telling me to. But yeah, no, because I mean, at some point it always used to be the celebrity would be in the commercial, but then at some point in the last decade or so, like it's just been the voice, like, and you're like, wait, is that who is that? Like, I know that voice from somewhere.
I wonder if it's probably cheaper to just have
Oh,
them sit in a booth and talk.
I recently figured out, and I don't understand this for the life of me. I was trying to do research on it because we I was watching something, and like every song in it was a cover version of the song. Like there was never not a single original, and I'm like, this has to be more expensive because now I have to pay a band to remake the song, and I still have to pay for the song. And I researched it, and they were like, no, it's not because you can use a nobody band that you don't have to really pay anything for. And you just have to pay for the rights to like the lyrics and the music instead of getting Aerosmith, we'll get somebody to cover Aerosmith and somehow that's cheaper.
Okay. I mean, I could see how it's cheaper, but you just have to pay two people instead of one. I don't know, all right.
It must be because I mean it was like okay I mean it doesn't make sense to me because you know like you said you're paying two people instead of just one person. But I guess, you know, rather than paying Elton John, I pay a guy to cover Elton John. That guy I'm paying nothing, and I'm just paying Elton John for the lyrics instead of paying for Elton John and the lyrics, I'm paying just for the lyrics.
What I'm not saying Elton John does this, but what happens if it's like his song that he sings was written actually by a different guy, not Elton John? So do they pay the different guy? They don't actually pay Elton John, they pay Joe Schmo?
I don't know. That's where I think that's why it's cheaper because you're paying the licensing company and the record company instead of I don't know. It
Like
just
you're not paying Steven Tyler, you're paying Steven Tyler's second cousin twice removed, Stefan Taylor.
right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it got real confusing and it didn't make a lot of sense. And a lot of it was like, oh, I heard this guy told me something through that, you know, I was like, okay, you know,
Yeah. It's all right. I looked up some of the biggest contracts I could find. And of course they're going I didn't know I said of course. but they were soccer contracts, which I
So
thought was weird. I guess football. In 2003, David Beckham signed a deal with Adidas for 160 million, and he got paid 80 million up front. I don't have a year on this one, but Lionel Messi signed a lifetime contract with Adidas. Would you like to guess what a lifetime contract with Adidas goes for Lionel Messi?
well, let's see. If Beckham got 160 million, Lionel Messi probably got what, a billion?
$1 billion
Jeez.
for a lifetime contract with Adidas.
That goes to tell me that soccer is
Football?
way more popular outside of the bounds of this country than we sometimes even realize.
Yeah, I'm still not going to do it, but I don't think I give soccer enough credit for being as popular as it is worldwide. I'm never going to give them credit.
No, I just like even with the Olympics, I'm like if it was the gold medal game, I'll watch it, but I don't watch any of the prelims. I just don't care.
Yeah,
Soccer.
I don't think I've watched any of the Olympics.
Oh, I've been watching the hell out of the Olympics. I love it. Every 4 years, that's the thing I say every about the Olympics for 2 weeks out of the year. I care deeply about track and field, but for the other 3 years, 50 weeks, I don't give a fuck.
One of the earliest contracts that I could find with was Michael Jordan. He signed a deal with Nike in 1984, and that deal is still going today. So that's one of the longest tenured contracts for an endorsement with a celebrity athlete I could find.
Well, and that changed the fortune of Nike. Like Nike was, I mean, they were. I don't know how big they were, but I don't know if they were one of the bigger ones. But they now are like the biggest of shoe companies.
Yeah, top three, Nike, Adidas might be up there. I
Yeah.
mean, if they're paying a billion there, 160 million there, they got to be.
Well, and if Adidas is paying a billion to Lionel Messi, Nike's just going, I'm so glad we paid Michael Jordan in 1984.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably still paying him. I don't know if his
Yeah.
was a lifetime contract or what it is, but I don't see them letting him go anywhere.
No, especially since the grand majority of their line is called Air Jordan.
Yeah. They do that with a lot of basketball players too, though. That seems to be a common thing with more Nike than I think any other brand of shoes. Because I know Adidas has certain basketball players, but I think Nike has the most.
But I never got around to watching that Nike movie,
I
the
haven't
one
either.
with Affleck and Damon. That it's supposed to be pretty good, but that was, I mean, Nike was a company that was making shoes, and I don't know where they were in the scheme, if they were one of the big three already between Nike, Reebok, Adidas, Converse being up in there. But I mean, that definitely signing Jordan right as he was coming out of college, um, and him becoming one of the most dominant players of all time, really kind of set the table for them to become. I mean, at one point, I don't know if they are anymore, but at one point, they were definitely the leader in athletic wear.
I would think they still are.
I mean, they're
We didn't look any of that stuff up, but I would guess there's still one.
yeah. I mean, that
But
swoosh is one of the iconic symbols.
especially based on that's the shoe I wear more than any other shoe is Nike.
Yeah,
I'm a Nike loyalist. I wear my Hey Dudes if I have to be fancy.
I uh, I'm not brand loyal. I will buy whatever is available at a decent price.
Every year we make our trip to the Nike outlet mall.
I used to, but I used to be brand loyal. I'm not anymore. Not because of any one thing. It's just, I
So
just
you'd get paid to endorse shoes based on whatever the biggest contract you would get.
absolutely. I mean, if they want to make a pop culture roulette shoe, I'm not going to be like it has to be Nike or nothing. Like I'll just be like whatever. Crocs done.
That
Sign
that's
sign the deal.
that's probably how we get some of these weirder celebrity endorsements that I wrote down
All right.
is because they probably got just big money thrown at them. I didn't put these in any order. They were just as I was looking up some stuff. Snoop Dogg did a Hot Pockets ad.
Okay.
Muhammad Ali in the 80s did one for Decon roach traps.
Okay. I mean, Snoop doing hot pockets makes sense.
because it's got the munchies.
Yeah.
John Cena did a Crocs commercial. Nintendo DS, when it was coming out, hired Penelope Cruz and dressed her up as Mario.
I mean, I'm sure that unlocked a lot of weird fetishes for people.
Tom Hiddleston did Centrum Silver. I'm going to assume that was pre-Marvel.
Probably.
During the height of, I don't remember the name of the show, but the Osbournes. Was it just
Oh,
called the
I
Osbournes?
think it was just called the Osbourne.
Ozzy did a I Can't Believe It's Not Butter.
I remember that. That was a super weird ad because here's heavy metal rock god Ozzy Osbourne
King of Darkness, yeah.
shilling butter.
Katy Perry did one for The Sims 3 when they made a character in her likeness.
Okay.
Early on in Brad Pitt's career, he did Pringles.
Okay.
Uh, Helen
But
Mirren did a We Fit commercial.
but the Brad Pitt one, that was before he was Brad Pitt, right? Like he was just
I don't have a year on it, but
okay.
he looked like he was a weird surfer dude.
Okay, yeah. So I'm guessing he wouldn't do it now, but
Yeah. Paris Hilton, Hardee's,
yeah, I remember that ad.
and
That was
her
weird.
eating a burger on a car.
Yeah, that was a weird ad.
Malcolm McDowell for Lunchables Uploaded.
What which is a really weird one because your core audience for Lunchables has no idea who Malcolm McDowell is.
Yeah. This bunch of children want Lunchables. And probably when he did this, he was still old.
Yeah, I mean, your target audience doesn't watch the for Lunchables isn't watching A Clockwork Orange. Yeah.
Hope not.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian and Charmin.
Okay.
The Flintstones in 1961 did a commercial for Winston cigarettes.
Yes, they used to have them. They weren't obviously live because the Flintstones is animated, but yeah, they would run the ads during the Flintstones because the Flintstones was one of the first animated primetime shows.
And the Flintstones were smoking cigarettes.
Yep.
Bob Dylan, I think it was just his, I don't know if it was him or his song for Victoria's Secret.
That makes no sense. No,
Uh,
even if it was him and his son, it wouldn't make any sense.
Jamie Lee Curtis for Activia Yogurt.
Yes, I remember that.
David Carradine for the Yellow Pages.
Very strange. Very strange.
Justin Bieber did an advertisement when he was 16 for nail polish.
Okay. I mean, and he would have been at 16, he would have been like still ridiculously popular. So,
David Beckham for fish sticks.
okay.
Don't
I mean,
understand that one.
well, fish and chips being a very proper British meal, maybe fish sticks are bigger over there than they are here. I don't.
Fish sticks and chips, I guess. Method Man did Sour Patch Kids,
Okay.
where he did a World Gone Sour, The Lost Kids rap that he wrote for Sour Patch Kids.
Okay. All right. I mean, that could lead us down a whole like, is it a sellout thing or not? But hey, I'm not going to say it's a sellout because there's not a chance in the world that if Sour Patch Kids wasn't like, here's some money, that I wouldn't be hucking and jiving.
Yeah. These are some where like some of these have like the celebrities put their names to them, like Trump's Steaks. Donald
Okay.
Trump had his own line of steaks that he sold at Sharper Image.
Okay.
Sylvester Stallone with high protein pudding.
Okay.
Shaq Fu
Oh,
from
yes.
the NES game.
Yeah.
Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen did Aquafresh Bubble Cool toothpaste. That would have been Double Trouble time, I think, for them right around
No.
then.
Didn't Shaq also do a chocolate bar?
I don't know. I didn't come up with all of Shaq's.
Okay.
I have another one on here for him.
Okay.
Shaq is I put on here that Shaq currently endorses 30 companies. So him doing a chocolate bar, not out of the realm of possibility. Hulk Hogan did the Thunder Mixer.
Okay.
It's called Hulk Hogan's Thunder Mixer. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a blender or a bullet or something.
I don't know, but I guarantee you that there's thousands of rednecks around this country that have one in a closet somewhere.
Somewhere. The Kiss casket.
I mean, Kiss, much like whole Shaq, what didn't they endorse?
Jeff Foxworthy's beef jerky,
Okay.
which is surprising because I feel like most of his audience can't chew beef jerky.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised more of the blue collar guys didn't have their own beef jerky.
Steven Seagal's Lightning Bolt, which was an energy drink.
Okay.
The Mellow, Carmelo Anthony had a candy bar, basketball player.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Flutie Flakes,
Oh yes.
Nellie's Pimp Juice, which is an energy drink. Uh, Tom Brady did Uggs,
Yeah, yeah, he got a lot of shit for that one.
Pete Rose and Kool-Aid, Wilt Chamberlain, children's laxatives. Not sure why they're children's laxatives.
Yeah. I'm surprised there wasn't another product involving children or lack of children that Wilt didn't
Ooh.
endorse.
Marilyn Manson's Mansith, which was a traditional absinthe done by
Oh,
Marilyn Manson.
okay. I mean,
Uh,
there's a whole world of celebrity alcohol.
I put a couple more on here. That two more. Shaq's Love Shack vodka and Hanson's Hops beer.
Okay.
Two more I wrote down. Manny Pacquiao did a vinegar and soy sauce. I don't know what it was. It just says vinegar and soy sauce. I don't know if that was a chip or if that was a weird combination. I don't know why I wrote that one down. And Yasmir Yager, I know you're a big fan of him, so I saved him for last. He had his own peanut butter.
Yager had a peanut butter.
Yager
Well,
peanut butter.
oh, I mean, when he was a Capital, I probably would have bought it. But
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure this was Penguin times.
then I wouldn't have touched it. Because right close to me, I've got a couple boxes of Ovios. They made a special Ovechkin themed cereal. They
That
were,
should have been on the list, but it wasn't.
yeah. Um, Clooney made quite a bit of money selling his tequila company.
I didn't put that or like Reynolds Gin or his Mint Mobile.
Yeah, because I mean, Ryan Reynolds is super rich now because of Mint Mobile and Aviation Gin.
I think so. I was gonna say
Yeah.
aviator, but aviation makes more sense.
When you were talking about blue collar, it kicked in a memory when I was working at the grocery store part time. Larry the Cable Guy had his own spices and like deep fry mix. Like,
Interesting. Like
yeah,
Tony Hawk also has his games. Like I didn't include any video Tony Hawk, Madden.
yeah. I mean, there's a whole line of that, and then Tony Hawk also has like his own skate companies.
Yeah. Is there any, besides apparently Pittsburgh Penguins and Capitals, players or things where you're like, if you see them, you'll steer clear, or you might get drawn to it based on the celebrity?
I mean, obviously, anybody wearing an Angels jersey is going to catch my attention, and I'll probably look into buying it. I think because we live here in Wisconsin, we're so inundated by Packers selling things that like it kind of like goes over me. Like I'm so used to it now that I don't even think about it. But I imagine that there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, Donald Driver's selling that. I should buy it." Or,
Yeah.
John Kuhn is selling me cars. I should go buy a car there.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never seen like a lot of it too. You see, though, there's a lot of different like alcohols. Like I think Leroy Butler has his own, but I don't know if he drinks, which is kind of weird. But I've never been like, oh, I want to go find that just because it's Leroy Butler.
Yeah, but I mean, there are the hard. I mean, even though you're a hardcore Packer fan, there are the even more hardcore that like, Brett Favre sold it, so I had to have it. Now it's
Wrangler jeans.
yeah, or people started wearing copper fit a lot.
I have a couple Copperfit items.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers really endorsed ayahuasca, so I'm sure a lot of Packer fans were starting to. Oh wait, no, that's something
No,
different.
no.
um,
Conspiracy theories. I like those before Rogers. Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like every couple of years, some athletes throwing his face on a candy bar or a box of cereal. I mean, that's the whole like the Olympics, be happening right now. Simone Biles just did some really fun stuff for the gymnastics stuff. So I'm sure they're gonna throw her face on a Wheaties box.
Yeah, they always put Olympians on Wheaties. Do you
Yeah.
watch the gymnastics stuff?
Yes.
All right, because there's what, four? Is there that four events
Um,
for the women? There's the
for the women,
floors.
there's floor, uneven bars, pommel horse, and balance bar.
All right, I want you, then putting you on the spot in your Marvel DC brain,
Okay.
pick four superheroes. Let's exclude females, so no Black Widow,
Okay.
and put them in the Olympics doing those for Team America.
Okay. Well, the men do four different events,
I'm
right?
sticking with the women.
Okay. So it has
The women's events, but they're
the
Marvel or DC superheroes.
okay.
No, excluding the females.
Okay, so the men have to perform on the women's events.
Yes,
Okay.
because I know the men's events doesn't have floors.
Okay. Well, Spider-Man's gonna do the vault.
Okay.
Because he can, he's got some I'm gonna do I feel like Cap could probably do the balance bar really well.
That
You
was
know.
my initial thought for the beam was Cap.
Yeah, because I mean he's obviously also gonna wanna support Team America. Um like part of me would also think like Nightcrawler might be able to do some really fun stuff on the floor, because he can just all over the place.
Whirl and teleport or whatever he does.
Yeah. So that leaves the uneven bars.
Uneven bar.
I mean, just because it would be absolutely ridiculous, the Hulk.
I don't know if those bars can support him.
That's true. Probably than Deadpool. I mean,
I think Spider-Man would be good on the uneven bars too.
yeah, I mean, I think Spider-Man would be like the Simone Biles or the Gabby Douglas or the Ali Raisman, like just the all around, like,
Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna try to come up with the thing for that if Jeremy was here. So we'd all try to pick like
yeah.
even like the relay, like the swim, like which ones did you put in there, and
Well, I
just
mean, clearly you're
do
putting Aquaman or Namor in the swimming
and
events,
the
right?
swim.
Uh, Black Manta,
Are they gonna have to work together? Are they
Oh,
part of the
absolutely. It's the
team?
Olympics. You got to work together. For a week, 2 weeks, you got to get along, clean
After
up the
that,
met. After that, you can go back to fighting. But or they'd be competing against each other, and
yeah, that was just kind of a thing. I was like, well, if we did superheroes in the Olympics, and I thought the women's stuff with the men would be like
okay, yeah.
with the floor and stuff would be more entertaining than be like, well, I'm going to take Black Widow.
So yeah, I mean, if I had to, yeah, I mean, obviously Black Widow and like Captain Marvel, not necessarily Miss Marvel. I would be putting them in the women's events, But have you? So you don't watch any of the Olympics? Is it just you haven't watched it this year, or do you normally not watch it?
I normally don't watch it.
Okay, I
I'll catch highlights and glimpses, but I don't go out of my way to be like, all right, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch the Olympics.
uh they have a prime time in Paris event because Peacock is covering the Olympics, so I get to watch a lot of it. And so like that starts at like 7 o'clock. So what Jess and I have dinner. We'll watch like an episode of like Beat Bobby Flay or Barbecue Brawl or something. And then when that's over, we'll throw the Olympics on. So we're like several weeks behind on a lot of stuff now because we're in week 2 of the Olympics. Because we just we'll like I said, like I mean, like legitimately, like I don't care about gymnastics. I don't. For 3 years and 50 weeks out of the year, I don't want to think about it. But for
Yeah.
for 2 weeks, and it's the same with the Winter Olympics. I don't care about downhill slalom skiing. I don't care about skeet shooting or field hockey. Um, but for those 2 weeks, man, I'll watch it if it's on TV. I was watching archery. You know how boring archery is, especially when they're at the level of where they're at.
And they don't have Hawkeye out there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, because I mean these. I mean, the one in particular we were watching the most of happened to be the women, because they were just that happened to be the one they were showing when we were watching it. I mean, these women are hitting nines and tens almost every time. Like it would be the Olympics. I think could be a lot more entertaining if they just picked people off the street and they're like, you're doing archery.
Submit like put your name and put it. Every American gets to enter their name in a drawing
Yeah.
for one sport,
Right.
and they pull you out. If they pull you out of the hat,
Like
like, all right, you're doing this.
my name gets pulled out, and all of a sudden I'm doing the 3 meter springboard. Like,
Well, you'd have to put, I think you should have to put your name in the event you're
oh,
interested in.
okay.
Because I would be like, I'm definitely not wanting to be a swimmer. I don't swim well. So I'm not going to be like, all right, let's put me in the 200-meter butterfly. I don't even know what a butterfly is besides an insect.
Yeah, I mean that is. I mean, I was watching, I mean, it's kind of a spoiler because it just happened today. But we watched the 100 meter, the event today, where the men's 100 meter was the gold medal today. Jordan Lyles won by 5/100ths of a second. Like it literally was a photo finish. They had to get down to the photo to see, and like his chest was just a hair past the Jamaicans guy. Like I mean, it was just like 5/100ths of a second, not tenths of a second.
Or is that 0005 or is that 005?
Oh, it was like 9.755, and his was like 9.74. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was so close. I mean, like honestly, when they crossed the finish line, Jess and I were like, I think the Jamaican guy won. I think we got silver. And then they showed the picture and like they're like, oh no, we won. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'll follow along and see like, who's gold, silver, like which country's got the most. I do kind of follow basketball in the Olympics.
Well, it's not even worth following basketball at this point because
No.
like now the knockout stage starts tomorrow or Tuesday. I don't know. It's coming up here pretty soon because they finished pool play where like the U.S. was playing South Sudan. Like, come on, like clearly,
Yeah,
sorry, South Sudan.
playing who'd they just play? Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
And
like
they had to have like so many because it comes down to point differential. So even Steve Kerr was talking about how he wants them to beat him by as many as possible.
right, and like they have a thing on Peacock where Kevin Hart and Keenan Thompson do like a recap, and they were like, on this day in Olympic history, the U.S. men's team Christian Laettner hit a last second shot to seal the victory, like a game winner. They beat, was it like not South Sudan but like Angola or something like that, 146-47. Like it was,
Hit the game winner at the buzzer.
yeah, game
Nope,
winner.
unless that shot counted for 100 points.
Right, yeah. Um, but I mean, sticking with the topic of endorsements, like watching the Olympics, like Jordan Lyles, the guy who won 100 meter, like he's on every other commercial break for some, credit card. Simone Biles is a credit card and this and stuff. And now that she's won gold a whole bunch more, and she's now the most decorated Olympic athlete for the U.S. Women's gymnastics. She's going to make so much money off of, signing on for whatever product wants to sign her on for.
Yeah, but her husband plays for the Bears.
Yeah, well, Jess sent me a great one. I couldn't. It was I meant to send it to you, but then I forgot because she sent it to me a way that I couldn't just immediately forward it to you. It was Simone Biles now has 8 gold medals. Jonathan Owens, she has more gold medals than he's going to have wins this year.
Yeah, he left us to go play for Chicago. Well, or we just said bye, bye, bye.
One of the two. All right. Well, but the endorsements are crazy. That's about to happen. But there are 5 Olympic events where the U.S. has never medaled,
Medaled.
medaled at all, men's or women's. Do you want to take a guess, or do you just want me to tell you?
I don't know most of the Olympic events because I don't really follow it.
Okay.
So it's going to be better if you just tell us.
Okay. Badminton.
That's, a,
We
that's an
have
Olympic event.
It is an Olympic event. Started, I mean, it's been around for a very, very long time, but became an official Olympic event in '92. We have never medaled. In fact, it doesn't say it here, but an article I was looking at earlier said like we've never even made it to like the quarterfinals of badminton. Like
How is that possible?
for some reason, we don't let all the drunk rednecks who play badminton in the family park play in the Olympics. I don't know. Team handball. which has been an Olympic event since 1936. Which, have you ever watched team handball? It's
I
like,
don't think so. Is that the
it,
little pink rubber ball when they're in that little room?
no, no, that's squash. Team handball is like soccer, but it's like a mix of soccer and football. Because like you play on a field similar to like lacrosse, but you're they look a lot like soccer athletes, but they're just throwing the ball around instead of kicking it. We've never medaled. In fact, we haven't even had a team qualify for it in like since like '96.
Oh,
Now this one is surprising to me because we're so good at. Now there's a difference between artistic gymnastics and rhythmic gymnastics. I looked it up because I didn't know. Rhythmic gymnastics. You remember old school when Will Ferrell was doing the routine with the ribbons?
yes.
Okay. Rhythmic gymnastics is a lot of that, like with the ribbons and the ball and the hoops and that kind of stuff. Uh, we have never medaled in rhythmic gymnastics. We dominate the other one,
Yeah.
or we at least we have been more recently. Table tennis,
That, all right. Doesn't surprise me.
ping pong,
Yeah, that
uh,
doesn't surprise me as much as badminton.
yeah, and
I've
then
I've seen Balls of Fury.
yes, and then apparently trampoline is an Olympic sport, and we have never medaled in it.
Like what on trampoline? Just jumping on a trampoline?
I somehow that's an Olympic sport.
There's some actresses we could send there. They'd probably medal in it.
Yeah, yeah. There's one in particular I'm thinking of.
Just hey, go. Do it for
Ah,
America. Do it for America.
she's not doing any of the tricks that where you're supposed to. Nope, but that's a 10, 10,
Just
10,
10.
10, 10, 10, 10.
Out.
So I think as a country, because the next Olympics are in LA, the 2028 Olympics are in LA. So I think as a country, we need to spend the next 4 years really focused on these five sports because as the host country, you're guaranteed an automatic bid in every Olympic event.
Oh,
So you like, I mean, they'll still the U.S. athletes will still try to qualify and do all that stuff, but we're gonna have teams and events of stuff that like with team handball where we haven't qualified since '96, the last time the Olympics were in this country. We have not had a team like qualify for the Olympics. So I think for the next 4 years, we need to just really focus on what it takes to be putting a winning team handball team together so that we can.
how many is in badminton? Is it a team? Is it solo?
You are asking questions I do not have an answer to. I can't imagine that it's more than two.
Yeah, because normally even when you would play it in school, it was two or it was singles.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe for the next 4 years, we'll get together a couple hours a day. We're just gonna play badminton.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you at 46.
Is that 40? Is that current or is that in 46 and 4 years when the Olympics are
No,
here?
I'll be 50 the next time the Olympics happen. Yeah. Yeah. Next time the Olympics happen, I'll be 50.
I'll be 41.
Yeah.
We can still do badminton.
Now, I will say though, she's not from this country. There was a lady who gold medaled this year, and she's the first Olympian to ever gold medal or medal. I don't remember that part in 7 different Olympics.
Damn.
I mean, normally most of them top out at 3, maybe 4, but she's done 7.
7. Jesus, 21 years?
Yeah, something like because it's every 4 years.
Yeah,
So
7, 14. That's 28.
yeah, 20. So she's been doing this equestrian stuff. But see, that's the thing. Like she can do the equestrian stuff and still be in her 50s and being able to perform at a high level. Some of the archers, although the archers were all pretty young, at least on the women's side. Some of did you see have you seen any of the memes with the guns, the
Yeah,
target shooting?
the Turkish guy.
Yeah, the Turkish guy who just like showed up and was like bam 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 silver. Like the rest of them all have like the fancy like eyeglasses and like the earplugs and that he just showed up and was like, yeah, they're done silver.
No. So I'm still thinking we could take badminton.
I don't think you and I could.
If we
Maybe you
dedicate
would.
the next 4 years.
Maybe you and Jeremy. I don't know. We'll have to look into it. Maybe in 4 years, podcasting will be an Olympic event.
Yeah, we should see if we could get some kind of like commentary booth there.
We should. Maybe in 4 years we'll be popular enough that NBC will hire us to come and do a Snoop Dogg level of engagement with the Olympics.
Yeah, odd
Has
tickets.
has there ever been a man or woman who's had the crazy level of like career altering move like that Snoop Dogg has had?
You mean like,
Like at one point Snoop Dogg was like hardcore like gangster rap, like on trial for murder. Now obviously was found innocent or at least not guilty, so he didn't go to jail.
yeah,
But he was definitely like, ooh, scary, bad, like
yeah, with like Tupac and Biggie.
yeah, he was, oh, the moms and dads didn't want their kids listening to Snoop, and now he is hosting his own events on the Olympics on NBC.
Yeah, and isn't he also a football coach for his kids?
Yes. He also hangs
Hmm.
out with Martha Stewart, which is weird, but she's doing some of the Olympic stuff with Snoop. Like I can't think of anybody. Career rehab, I guess, would probably be the better word. Where like he went from being like poison, like people couldn't touch him, wouldn't touch him unless you were within that segment of the music industry,
Right.
and now like he's accepted and beloved by,
You
well,
usually see it go the other way around,
yes,
like Charlie Sheen.
yes.
What the? Can I put
Uh,
Mike Tyson in there?
I don't know if he has completely rehabbed his career the way
Snoop has? I mean,
Snoop
yeah,
has.
he went from being one of the baddest man boxers on the planet to making a kids cartoon that he solves mysteries in.
Was that really a kid's cartoon?
I don't know. I enjoy it.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't that on Adult Swim?
No, it
Not,
was an Adult Swim show.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, it was an animated cartoon, but well, I mean, of course it was. You can't have a cartoon that's not animated.
Didn't I read somewhere too something that like Snoop Dogg made his own cartoon?
It wouldn't shock me. The
Because
man's.
like he his for like his grandkids or something.
I don't know. It wasn't. It just I was it was it's shocking to me to look at the Olympics and go, this man was, where he was when I was in high school, you know, Death Row Records, you know, like my parents would have been like, oh, like,
Would they have been like that for Snoop Dogg or for like all rap?
probably all rap in general, but like Snoop Dogg would have, because he was one of the most recognizable ones, to where like when Snoop Dogg comes on TV now, like I'm not saying my parents are, but like, in general, like grandparents are like, "Oh, that's Snoop Dogg, yay!"
Is from Crook the Cookbook. That's currently sitting up on my microwave stand.
Yeah, that's just okay. But yeah, that's been fascinating to me recently. Just like I can't think of anybody else who's ever done that with his career. Where like
How about Ice Cube?
Ice Cube is not far off. Ice T also pretty close. Like those
Yeah,
three.
T Cube and Snoop.
Yeah. Ice T, maybe you could make the argument is more than Snoop because Ice T had a song called Cop Killer and was even more hardcore gangster than Snoop was.
Yeah.
Um and now he has been on Law and Order as a cop for a long time.
I was gonna say a lot of people now probably associate him with Law and Order and are probably like, wait, he was a rapper?
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a good section of the population who don't know he had a music career at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
The only reason I wouldn't say Ice T is done it more than Snoop is because Ice T still does some questionable stuff outside of Law and Order, especially with his wife.
Yeah.
So,
All
but
right.
yeah. Anyway, do we want to do some spoiler review of Deadpool, or do we want to give it a couple more weeks?
Uh, where are we time wise?
I know we didn't start recording right away, so
Yeah, I don't even know what time we started. I mean, I'm fine going, giving a couple.
okay, we'll go a couple more minutes then. Okay, so I went and saw Deadpool Wolverine last Saturday because I knew if I didn't see it like opening weekend, I was gonna have that movie ruined for me. And boy, was I right because Twitter, Facebook, so much has just been all about the spoilers. So I'm really glad I went and saw it. I know you went and saw it on Sunday.
I saw it Sunday, knowing you were going to see it Saturday, and in case we wanted to do any kind of discussion with it, because I think Jeremy said he was seeing it. Don't know, don't have any confirmation that he saw it
Yeah,
too,
right.
but I know we had all had talked about that.
Yeah.
We'll watch it.
So just gonna go ahead and tell you to close out the episode, we are about to. If you somehow have managed to avoid spoilers,
Good for you, first
good
of
for
all.
you. Um, Normally we try not to do big time spoilers like this, but we're 2 weeks in, and um,
So
man,
yeah, if you haven't seen it, we appreciate you listening, but it's time for you to go.
yeah, it might be time for you to turn off the episode. You're not gonna miss, well, you're gonna miss some real fun stuff in the next couple minutes, but you're not gonna miss a lot of episode. We're definitely wrapping it up here.
Yeah.
I did not see the Chris Evans cameo coming at all.
No.
Um, when he showed up, obviously everybody thought it was Captain America,
Avengers Assemble.
especially when he was like, "He's about to say it. He's about to say it. Avengers!" And he goes, "Flame on!"
Yeah.
To So I went and saw it 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I would say that theater was still probably 85-90% full.
I saw it 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and I would say it's about 60% empty.
Wow,
Yeah. Like you
that's
could look down and there were just empty rows.
wow. There was not a lot of empty seats in the one that I went to. But the first off, when he showed up, like the like the audible like gasp of, but like when he said "flame on," like the level of like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that just happened. Like, um, I was really shocked to see Jennifer Garner come back as Elektra. Somehow I Somehow I missed that rumor that Jess had not. She knew that one was going to happen.
I heard about that one. I heard the Blade one too.
I didn't hear the Blade one either. I had been really doing my best to keep away from all spoilers, but um having Wesley Snipes back as Blade and then making a joke about he's the one and only, even
Yeah.
though they're actively working on the new one.
Yeah, there's
With
only one. There's only one Blade because
Right, which also makes them say like the Blade TV series, they're not acknowledged.
it doesn't
That
exist.
that doesn't exist apparently. I was shocked that Ryan Reynolds had Wesley Snipes back because apparently, like, I mean, that was the thing. Like, they did not get along on the set of Blade 3.
They've both aged. They've matured.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, so having that one, and then Channing Tatum as Gambit was amazing
Yeah, that was great. Even the references.
to the fact that the movie never actually got
Yeah,
made.
are you sure you just didn't want this to really happen?
I mean, like, I
Yeah.
was not shocked that Daphne and Keene had come back as Laura Linney as X-23. Like that
Yeah.
one, I kind of I kind of knew that one was coming. Obviously, everybody knew, a lot of the stuff the characters from Deadpool were going to be there early.
I'm a little disappointed that they didn't really do much with the characters from the second one.
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit more, especially towards the end when they
Yeah.
did the variant fight. Like I kind of expected them to have more of a
Yeah,
presence.
like maybe Colossus shows up, even if it's just at the end out to
Right.
lend a
Yeah.
hand.
Um, I loved beyond all measure the X-Men or the Wolverine across the multiverse montage at the beginning of the movie. Because it was comic accurate Wolverine, so really small. Because in the books he's only like 5'3".
Right.
Um, the one where he was like kind of crucified, like nailed to the big X,
Yeah.
like that one is like straight from a cover, like that. The one where he attacks him in the alley was also a big run in the 80s, early 90s. Like there was so many like actual references to the comic book, not just like Wolverine in general. Um, I loved Calverine.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I did I although I did half expect instead of it being Henry Cavill, it being like Glenn Danzig
Okay.
because they had really pushed for Glenn Danzig to be Wolverine back in the 90s before Hugh Jackman took over, which would have been a terrible idea, and having Hugh Jackman do it was the better option.
Wasn't there also
But
talk like Daniel Radcliffe for a while?
yeah, there was some push for that for when they if
They
they were talking about recasting.
they could add him in there instead of
That would have been funny.
yeah.
But we did get to have some Ryan Reynolds jokes at DC's expense for Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
We'll treat you way better over on this side. That was pretty funny. Did you catch all of the celebrities in the Deadpool corps?
I don't know about all of them. I know I saw as well as wife,
Yeah,
and
yeah, Blake,
I know his kids.
yeah. Headpool,
Okay.
Nathan Fillion,
All right.
and Cowboy Pool. Now the voice, like because you didn't see him, there was part of me going, "Wait, what is that? Who I think it is?" And it wasn't until like I got out of the movie and I could turn my phone back on. It was Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah, you turned your phone off all the way.
Yes, I turned my phone off for the movie. I am respectful of movies.
I just silence it.
No, I turn it off. But yeah, Matthew McConaughey, Blake Lively, his daughter, and Nathan Fillion.
Both his kids.
Well, I know his daughter is I think the only one that spoke.
Yeah, and then the baby
Oh
Deadpool
yeah, baby Deadpool.
was their kid.
Yeah,
Was their baby.
yeah. I want a dog pool pop in the worst way.
Don't they make those?
Yes, they do, and I want it.
Peg or whatever that dog's name is, the world's ugliest dog.
Oh yeah, big fan of dog pool. Um, I just and I mean obviously the movie is more than just cameos. I feel like they as much as I liked Multiverse of Madness, this movie did a better job of using the multiverse and making it work.
Yeah.
And I mean, and we're not even talking about all the X-Men villains that were in the fight scene at Cassandra Nova's battle, because I mean they had I mean it was all the X-Men, all the original actors from across the spectrum of the X-Men movies, the first three as well as the First Class and Days of Future Past.
Oh, I didn't notice that they're the same actors.
Yes, the guy who played Toad, Ray Park, was there. The guy who played Sabretooth was the same. The red one, Azrael, he was the same. Colossus was not Colossus.
Juggernaut was different.
Juggernaut was different.
That I saw.
Um, uh,
That fight with him and Sabretooth.
yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, that's it.
Lady Deathstrike was the same. Yeah, so there was a lot like of Pyro was the same. So yeah, I mean it was kind of crazy. Like the level of like all of the rumors about what was supposed to be happening in Multiverse of Madness actually happened with this one,
Yeah, in here.
except for the Taylor Swift one, which I knew was not going to happen.
Yeah, there was some real good fight scenes, especially with between Wolverine and Deadpool, like that fight in the car.
Yes, that was amazing.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't get, I don't know why I thought of this with that. When he gets kicked out of the car, he tosses his blades. But then when you see him later, he's got his blades. So when they came to pick him up, they grabbed him.
They must have.
I was like, he didn't have those with him because he was using baby knife
Oh yeah, baby knife.
because he's in such a small space.
Yeah, I mean there were so many great one-liners. I want to see it again to catch everything that I missed. Um, you know, having if you had watched Loki, I think some of the TVA stuff would have made a little more sense. But like, Jess didn't watch anything with either season
I
from Loki,
mean,
so she didn't like it didn't affect her enjoyment of it.
yeah, it didn't really take anything away.
Um, you know, there's a lot of the movies that she's missed, like the non MCU movies that she's missed that maybe she didn't quite understand the references to. She was super excited to see Channing Tatum, but she didn't get the reference until after the movie was over when I was able to tell her the story.
Yeah, from however many years ago.
Yeah.
There was a couple good trailers too before the movie.
Alien Romulus, that was one for.
Yeah, I didn't realize they're making another Venom movie, and I know a lot of people hate on the Venom movies.
This guy
Yep,
in particular.
but I was like, I'm still for it. I don't know if you had the Venom trailer.
I don't remember having the Venom trailer, but I've seen it on YouTube a couple times already.
I'm still here for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll see it because I'm a masochist or a sadist, whichever one is self-inflicted. Which is why I watched Madam Web.
I I still have been on that comic book hiatus, except for when this one came out. I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah. Oh.
As much as I'm like, yeah, man, I still haven't seen the other guard or not guards, Thor.
Oh, Love and Thunder.
Yeah, still haven't seen it.
I liked Love and Thunder. I know a lot of people didn't, but I think that's just because people want to hate on Marvel right now.
And I haven't been in that, oh, I have to watch this. But I was like, oh, this one, Deadpool, I'm going, hands down.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm so glad that I talked her into going opening weekend, because it would have been absolutely ruined for me super fast, and
Yeah.
because so many people were like even later that day, like we're already ruining stuff.
Yeah. I seen, I don't remember if it was Twitter or Facebook. I was scrolling through and someone had a clip of the whole with Elektra and stuff.
Yeah,
That I knew about too before I even saw it because of a clip.
and then Blade saying "motherfuckers trying to ice skate uphill," which that line still doesn't make any sense, but.
Yeah, that's good. I like
You
it.
you see anything else in the last couple weeks?
I didn't write anything down. Normally I do. I made it through all the Hobbits, all the Lord of the Rings, which I'm pretty sure I talked about. Yeah, I think that was about it.
Okay, I went and saw Twisters today.
I don't have much of an interest in it, and based on the way you said that you went and saw it, it feels like I don't need to see that one until it's streaming.
Yeah, I mean it was enjoyable. I mean it was fun. Um, Most of the people in the group that I went and saw today said, "Oh, it was all right, but I liked the first one better."
Okay,
But honestly, like it's kind of a sequel in name only. Like the story and the characters have nothing to do with the original movie.
gotcha. They're not related in any way, shape, or form.
Not that they're very explicit about.
Okay.
Not that I could tell. Like there was one that I kept waiting for them to be like, and then it never happened.
I did
So,
watch Abigail.
I saw that that's on Peacock, so it's on my
Yeah,
list. But
I
I've been
wa
watching.
I watched that one. That is something I watched.
I've been watching so much Olympics, and then I've got a lot of other stuff to watch now for our other project that we're working on.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
But yes, that one I did watch.
any good?
Little, it's a lot predictable.
Okay, I'm not surprised, but
Yeah, like yeah, it's pretty predictable. It has its moments. I don't remember how long it is, but it might be an hour and a half, maybe a little more. But it's not a long hour and a half. It kind of keeps the pace. So you never get into that, like, come on, is this over yet kind of thing.
okay. Well, that's all right. That's good then. All
Yeah.
right then. Okay. Well
Hmm.
then, I guess if you or other countries and you're coming for us in 2028, just remember, stupid never walks alone.
Yeah.
Comic books have been around for almost a century, and in the last 2 decades, we've finally gotten to see many of these characters brought to life in movies and on TV. On the Moving Panels podcast, we discuss movies and TV shows based on, inspired by, and adapted from the world of comic books. Join me and my guests as we discuss both the good and the bad from Marvel, DC, and even some of the lesser-known comic book companies. Learn what is and isn't from the comics, as well as
Life
our nerdy
moves pretty
review of the
fast.
movie or show.
If you don't
New
stop and
episodes
listen
drop
to an
every
80s
Monday,
Flick
and you can
Flashback
find us
podcast
wherever
once
you
in a
listen to
while,
podcasts. So
you can
join
miss
us
it.
for Moving Panels, and I'll
Do
see
you love
on the
movies of
other
a
side
certain
the page.
age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes, VCRs, and the video rental stores? Does the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? My name is Tim Williams. I'm the creator and host of the 80s Flick Flashback podcast. On each episode, I'm joined by guest co-hosts to discuss one of the many movies released in the 1980s. We share our first-time watch memories, our favorite scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories about the cast and crew along the way. New episodes are released every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an excellent episode of the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast. The ad is over. Go home. Go.